Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Kevin Graham, his name's Lawrence Conley, his name's Russell Boyce. Thank you for joining us for an evening of entertainment, we hope, from Easter Road as Celtic complete the first quarter of fixtures. And this quarter of fixtures actually, for me, seems to have been an age. It seems to have lasted months with international breaks and all of that in it. So, Russell, the Celtic team this evening is Joe Hart, Anthony Ralston, Cameron Carter Vickers, Carl Starfelt, Josip Juranovic, David Turnbull, Callum McGregor, Tom Rogic, Mikey Johnson, Furuhashi and Yota. Is that the team that's going to end this much talked about, much worried about hoodoo at Easter Road this evening?
We're certainly going to be giving it a go, judging by that lineup, Kev. I think it's very aggressive in terms of personnel. Obviously, how they line up will remain to be seen. But I agree with you on the hoodoo thing. Say, see when people were talking about the Livingston hoodoo before, if you actually looked at it, we'd only played them something like 6 times in that period. It wasn't quite as real as what the Easter Road hoodoo does appear to be. And you can only, you only have to look at some of the managers that failed to get a win there. Lennon in his second spell, Rodgers the whole time he was there, and yet, his record was impeccable with every other club near enough. I'm quite excited about the team tonight. I think he's obviously been encouraged by what he's seen from Mikey Johnston so far. I think he's the big talking point. I'm sure we'll get to that. But in terms of the actual lineup itself, I heard it get read out on Radio Scotland before I came on, and I thought, wow, it sounds like there's the team's split in two almost, with Callum McGregor going in between both. It's attack and defence. I mean, I don't know, but I quite like the fact we're going to take it to them, Kev. I think it's a good thing. Something we've got to have a go sometimes as well. And whilst I've been very encouraged by the more measured approach I think the team's taken, we can argue as to why that's been, whether it's been instructions from the side or whether it's the team learning Ange's rules. Either way, to me, the team's definitely more measured. But going by that lineup tonight, we could be in for a slobber knocker.
A slobber knocker, that is some phrase, Russell. I love that phrase. Lawrence, we've been talking about like this 8-year hoodoo. For me, all for this team and all for Ange, it's only the next 90 minutes, it's on their shoulders. What's your first impressions of that side?
Listen, it's an attacking lineup that we expect.
And I think Lawrence has decided to...
Live TV, Kev. Live TV.
I think Lawrence Oh, no, definitely. Looks like Lawrence has decided to freeze on us, and once we'll get him out and we'll bring him back in. The change, Mikey Johnson for Giakoumakis. I don't think that's a surprise, truthfully. I got a kind of feeling on Saturday that we'll see Giakoumakis starting home games, and when we go away from home, where there might be a bit more space for the counter-attack, he'll revert to Kyogo through the middle and two pacey wide players, and that seems to be the case tonight, Russell.
I get what you're saying. I think maybe in years gone by, and I think you were talking today about how football's evolved, and it's quite interesting because see, like a few seasons ago, if you'd signed a guy with a physique, the sort of profile, I should say, of Giakoumakis, you would instantly expect them to be the guys you used away from home when you had to go more direct and it was going to be more physical. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the game has changed, and I take that on board, and I think maybe you're right. Although, for me, if Giakoumakis was getting used predominantly for the home matches, I would like to see him actually partnered up top as opposed to up top on his own. I certainly still think, though, he will play a part tonight. Regardless, I think he's very much going to be in and around this first team in a big way. I've been really encouraged what I've seen so far, but who can't be encouraged when they see Kyogo playing through the middle in the team? It just puts a smile on your face from the get-go, and I appreciate, the other day we were on the Monday and Amy was saying, it's not like he's doing anything wrong when he plays out wide. It's just because now you've had that taste of him through the middle. You just have to, always compare and contrast that with it. But no, I'm excited to see him through the middle, and I'm excited to see what Giakoumakis can bring when he comes off the bench, which I think is an inevitable outcome tonight.
Definitely, Lawrence is back. Where's Lawrence? It looks like Hibs have went a 4-5-1. They've brought in Alexander Gogic back, and it looks like Kevin Nisbet's up front as well. Jamie Murphy gets a start with him. Ryan Porteous comes back into the team from the ones that they played at the weekend. What I noticed, strangely, bizarrely enough, I actually watched the second half in the Aberdeen Hibs game on BBC Alba. So they do the rerun at 6 o'clock. I managed to catch the second half. And what was noticeable to me, that the Hibs back line couldn't actually handle the pace of the Aberdeen side. And we have far more pace in the Aberdeen side, Lawrence.
Yeah, look, listen, without doubt, hopefully Mikey J builds on the performance he done coming off the bench. I think Hibs are without a number of first teamers. We really are catching Hibs, I think, at the right time. They're on a run of 3 defeats. Hopefully we'll make it 4 for them. But if ever you wanted to meet Hibs, it'd probably be now. If you pick a time, they're missing, I think, 5 first teamers. They can't buy a win, can't buy a goal, never mind a win. So yeah, this is when you want to play them, isn't it?
I'll have a wee run through the Hibs. Sorry, Lawrence. I'll have a wee run through the Hibs side. You've got Matt Macy in goals, Josh Doig, Paul Hanlon, Ryan Porteous, Paul McGinn, Jamie Murphy, the boy Newell, Alexander Gogic, somebody Hayes, didn't ken his first name, Martin Boyle and Kevin Nisbet. I wondered this afternoon, Russell, if Jack Ross was going to go a bit conservative and try to hit us on the break as well, and that's what he seems to have done. It looks like he's going to give Celtic plenty of the ball and look for the out ball with Jamie Murphy and Martin Boyle.
Well, I think, like Lawrence was touching on there, Kev, it does show you the importance of your previous results when you go to play in one of the the bigger matches of the season, if you like, And I've got to say, I think Jack Ross's attitude since he's went to Hibs in terms of his team selection has been, I've actually liked it. I know he's your favourite manager in the world, Kev, so I don't know what I don't know what's flagging him off.
That was last season, Russell. That was last season.
But no, I'm only teasing. But I think actually with his lineup tonight, judging by that, it may well be a bit based on the fact that they have been on a sequence of defeats that Lawrence alludes to, as sometimes that can just play a wee trick, and sometimes that can change your sort of mindset as to how you approach a match. And I think if Hibs are going to give Celtic the ball tonight, I would like to think they've not been fooled by what's happened recently and thinking that we're not battering teams, because whilst the results may seem more normal, in the real world, the actual possession rate is minor, but we just seem more controlled. And I think Celtic would quite happily go there tonight and play a pick them off game, tire them out the first half, because I think first halves, if you actually look at Celtic's displays of late, seem to be more low-key now than what they used to be. But I actually think we're knocking a lot of body shots on them, if that makes sense for a boxing analogy.
I understand that.
We're tiring them out, and then come the second half, we put the foot down slightly, and then that it just seems to, we seem to get the more exposure then. I'm quite looking forward to seeing if Jack Ross is going to line up more negatively, Kev. I actually think that might play into our hands as well. And I've got to agree with Lawrence. I think Easter Road's a daunting fixture for us. I don't mean daunting over dramatically, but I think the record speaks for itself. We know they're a good side. We know they're managed well. But I think, they're going on a bad sequence of results. They might be shaping up a wee bit more negative than they normally would. Have they lost their nerve maybe a wee bit? You never know. But I think we are catching them at the best possible time we could.
I think you're right, and Lawrence, we'll come back to you here. We actually have to go, forget it from a Hibs point of view, let's have a look at this from a Celtic point of view. We are like trying to, first things first, we want to win the game, but we're trying to build an identity. The team, Callum McGregor was quite clear, the team's trying to build an identity as well as winning games. And you have a look at us this evening. This is the first time I've been going to Easter Road for a little while, and I may have egg on my face at 9:30 tonight. I may as well, but I'm actually quite confident going to Easter Road tonight because of what we've done in the last 4 games. I think we feel more controlled. I think we feel more settled, and I think now we've actually got like weapons on the bench to bring off as well. There's options there. Like tonight we see Mikey Johnson coming in, Lawrence, and we're no that surprised about it.
I think options on the bench instead of weapons is probably a better phrase, mate.
I know,
but mate, I'm with you. Listen, I'm expecting kind of 3 or 4 tonight. I expect us to win 3 or 4 nil tonight. Hibs are on a terrible run of form. We're on a good run of form. The team's starting to understand what the manager wants from them. We've got players back fit. We've got options, as you touched on. Yakima Matis, what a goal! At the weekend. So yeah, I think it's exciting. That this is a big marker for us. If we win tonight, we've been to a lot of hard places. We've been to Pittodrie, we've been to Ibrox, we've been to Livingston. We've been to Easter Road. So we're going to have easier fixtures coming up between now and Christmas. So I think we'll win this one tonight, and it will certainly put everybody in good spirits.
Rob Garland on YouTube. Finally, a game at a decent hour in Oz, 5:45 a.m. Ange and the boys to continue the table rise with this game. No sunshine on Leith tonight. Well, I'll be very surprised if there's any sunshine on Leith, because I've got a funny feeling that the Celtic support are going to need canoes coming back along the M8. The amount of rain that's actually fallen here at the moment. Russell, what Lawrence says there about us getting Hibs at the right time, I think Hibs are getting us at the wrong time as well. I think Hibs are getting us at the wrong time because we're now ticking off fixtures and a tough round of first round fixtures that you could actually get, and now we're staring the last one in the face, going like that. We won tonight, we tick off Easter Road in the first quarter of fixtures, and when we look back before the international break, after the defeat at Ibrox, you would never believed we were going to be in this position.
I couldn't agree more. I'll go back to it. Me and Tony did on a Monday. We says the scary thing about the next 3 away games, and that was Aberdeen. I know there was an international break after that as well, but it was Aberdeen, Motherwell, and Hibs, and we were actually scratching around to find out, to work out which one we thought we would win. Now they go into this Hibs match, like you rightly point out, Kev, and they're going into it going, we've won 2 out of 3 already of this wee mini away run and difficult run, as you rightly point out. And they're going into it with confidence now because they've got the experience of getting these away wins. Do you know what I mean? And I think they've got every chance tonight. I might not be as bold to say 3 or 4, but I do think from a Celtic persuasion that Hibs are getting us at the wrong time. They absolutely are. But Celtic right now have a wee bit of know-how in how to win away from home. They've got confidence-building results, both domestically and in Europe as well, obviously with the result against Ferencvaros. Ange spoke very much on Saturday after the game about 2 words, control and discipline. Now, if Celtic are going to be patient tonight and playing against a Hibs team that we think might play a wee bit defensively, then as long as they can stick to those 2 main words that Ange said were the most important things about the recent performances, control and discipline, I think we are definitely, favourites for tonight. And even saying that, hasn't been a feeling I've had that many times away from home this season, Kevin. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I genuinely tonight have been the least anxious, shall we say, about an away fixture. And ironically, out of the 3 that we've just discussed that have been in relative close proximity, you would probably say Hibs is the hardest. So that's an encouraging sign.
You would actually say this, Lawrence. I wouldn't like to be coming into this game on the back of a defeat or draws in the last away games. As soon as we got the monkey off our back at Aberdeen, we've seemed to have went from strength to strength. The team seems galvanised. 5 already on YouTube. Ange is getting Scottish football. This will be another scalp for him. This is another learning experience for Ange Postecoglou going to Easter Road, and I don't think Ange will see the pressure, because the way that he'll look at the positives that his team have given him over the last couple of weeks, and that's what he'll be emphasising, Lawrence.
Listen,
I'm ignoring their comments about my hair.
I've been impressed with Ange, the way he handles the pressure or the flack from the media. Do you know the guy's a serial winner. The guy said, Ange is getting Scottish football. Well, maybe the team is now understanding Ange football or Ange ball. whatever we want to call it. And that's why we're getting such controlled performances, mate. You know, because game in game, we seem to be getting better. You know, Russell's touching it, possession stats are up, it's more controlled, the defence is looking solid. We look dangerous every time we go forward. So, you know, we'll definitely get confidence within the team, and more importantly within the fans. Well, there was definitely a kind of split between the team and the fans last season, and it seems, you know, if Ange has done away with that split. I'm not too sure we're all on board with the board at the moment, but you know what I mean.
We're never on board with the board. We're never happy with the board. They're never on our Christmas card list. Yeah, Hibs with me this evening charging £33 for a game in Scotland, which I think is absolutely atrocious. Frank Brennan on YouTube again. Sorry, I keep on bringing up YouTube comments, but they're the ones that just seem to spin up faster on the dashboard there. Us getting the first goal is always what we need. Russell, how good would an early goal be tonight? A goal in the first 15 minutes, and we can see what happens in our rain-swept Easter Road.
Yeah, it's massively important, Kevin. And maybe my view's wrong, but I happen to feel that in the earlier games, and particularly the two of contrast were European ones, and I know it's not a European game tonight, but how we came out the traps against AZ to how we came out the traps just nice and easy against Ferencváros, who are a far poorer team. I think we did used to depend on going 1-2 goals up, and then we kind of seemed to lose our way. Whether we were in a lead, we didn't know how to hold on to it. We didn't look comfortable defending it. We just carried on going, you know, sort of gung-ho style. Or if we went behind, the heads went down, and we looked like we were. So the importance of the early goal, whilst I take the point on board, I'm not as, you know, maybe consumed by it now. I actually think control, patience, I'll go back to it. If that is now what Ange is focused on, I promise you his post-match interview at the weekend, that's what he said. And he repeated the words a couple of times. I can't remember what radio station I heard it on. And I thought I quite like that, because there's no pressure on the players to be getting in, you know, absolutely blowing teams away or whatever. And I think if we show those two factors tonight, then I'm looking forward to a good result. And Laura's coming in. I'm now stammering my words. I get all nervous when I see Laura's going on. I've become a gibbering right in case she's disagreeing with me, you know.
Our own Laura comes in. The best way to win the match is to score more than the lads. Let me know if you need more expert analysis like this later on. I think we will. Lawrence, there's a lot of things to pack up there with what Russell says, But one of the things is he mentioned mentality, and we've now got a mentality. When I done the Ferencváros game last week with Paul, I says at half time that Postecoglou would be happy at nothing each, because he trusts his team to do the right things in the second half. And I think the Celtic support are not like the Dundee and the St Mirren game were absolutely right from the off. They opened up, we opened up. Before you knew it, we were 3-0 up before most people had took their seats. And I think the Celtic support now are getting into the habit of taking a breath, knowing we will eventually get chances because the football is there. And that'll be the same tonight,
Listen, I think St Mirren and Dundee at home are completely different from Hibs at Easter Road, aren't they? So I think there's a bit about that. As much as Ange's got a philosophy, there's still a bit of pragmatism to it as well. He's not going to open up as much against Hibs as he would against Dundee, is he? Yeah, I mean, we definitely trust the team, you know. We've talked about trust the process before, and I think the players are starting to trust Ange's process and believe in it. You know, they've got belief from the results they're getting. It's clear to say, you know, that the progression in the team from a group of individuals that tell and met each other, you know, with the amount of turnover we had to now, it has been phenomenal in such a short space of time. Because you'll recall we were talking about, you know, is this like a transition year? We're now sitting going, you know, we win this game, keep in touch until New Year, we could be in with a good chance of winning the league here.
I think it is. Sorry, Lawrence. I think it is all about keeping in touch at this precise moment in time because of the poor start that we did have, Lawrence. And tonight you're looking at it and you go, if we end tonight still 4 points behind, then we've got to say it's been a good night. We do have to say it's been a good night, moving into a busy schedule in November and December. Lawrence, are you worried about the inverted fullbacks with Hibs obviously going with the wood for Jamie Murphy and Martin Boyle, and this is going to put an awful lot of pressure on Callum McGregor to get out there, and also the two centre halves to be able to read the game and stop Hibs breaking up the park down the wide channels.
Well, I think with that in mind, Kev, tonight's a real test for how much progress those fullbacks have, made with understanding the inverted role that perhaps was new to them, and especially when it's, I think Juranovic certainly seems, maybe a wee bit, he's found it a wee bit easier to sort of, blend into that system. But I definitely think they're going to get tested, playing that sort of role tonight, like they probably, more than they have anyway, certainly in recent fixtures. So it will be interesting to see how they handle that. I know that there's obviously a debate that, he'll never change his style, no matter what. He won't compromise his principles. I think there's two sides to that. If that is the case, that can be a weakness as well as a strength. And I just think sometimes, like the example you just pointed out there, you've got to be aware of Martin Boyle's goal threat right now, There has to be some sort of balance or just saying, like, if you're going to play it, you need to maybe do it within yourself a wee bit, not just go, all out. You've got to play the fixture, Kev, sometimes. And I think I think it's a brilliant example you give there. I think the test that Celtic will have tonight for the fullbacks against those players will certainly be a sterner one than they've faced probably by anyone domestically this season in terms of covering that role. So it'll be great to see how far they've progressed with it, because I think undeniably, whilst Ange hasn't compromised his formation, inverted fullbacks, he hasn't compromised any of that. It's been more balanced, in my opinion. But what I would say is the real test to see how far they've come will be, be on display tonight with the opposition that they're up against.
It will be. Lawrence, what do you think about the inverted fullbacks and the threat Hibs are going to pose down the wings?
Look, listen, we're the tightest defence in Scotland. We've come up against threats before. Tory Ralston just continues to surprise us all. It's just, he seems to have adapted really well to it. We know Martin Boyle's dangerous. Ange is going to know him better than us. He's Australian boy, so Ange will be well aware of what threat Hibs pose to us. But a defence is starting, that 5 is starting to look really solid. It's 3-2-0s. The last 3 games. It's for me, I'm not worried. So Boyle's a dangerous player, so is Nisbet. But I think our defence should be able to handle him. It's really for me, it's how the midfield's going to work for us. Going forward. I've no worries about Callum McGregor being able to cover. Callum's able to do everything, isn't he? I don't even think I would worry if he's stuck in goals. I think he's that good. But it's really about how our midfield is going to perform and our attacking players, how they're going to support the 3 forward players. I think that's we need to get the transition right. We need to move it quick. When we win the ball back and they are out of position, when they haven't sat that deep and they aren't all in position, we need to be able to turn over quickly and get the ball forward quick.
Russell, we're just presuming that Hibs are going to be conservative, even though they've lined up in a 4-5-1. That's what the shape it looks like. But they could actually come out, and if they come out, I say bring it on. Let's go toe to toe, and let's see what actually happens. I mean, even though the SPFL's fixture list asking people to travel all over the country on a Wednesday night and the end of October doesn't say much for how they rate their product. Let's get some entertainment on show here. Hopefully Hibs do come out. I want Hibs to come out. I want to see a decent game of football.
I think that's fair. And again, if it goes down that road, then what a slap in the face it'll be to our national broadcaster, that's bought the rights. And for not the first week this season, or round of fixtures, I should say, this season, has failed to televise any of the matches, having not fulfilled their full quota last year either, which I just find a wee bit, demeaning almost to our game. It's a wee bit, it's like a slap in the face. If you're paying for X amount of fixtures per season, at least have the decency to use them. And I think you're right as well, taking the factors into consideration. This is, let's be honest, a match tonight between 2 top 4 sides. I think, anyway, in my mind. at the slight underdogs, shall we say, in terms of size of club, Hibs, at their ground. That's a great, there's easily content there that could be getting used. And I do think you're absolutely right. It puts an onus on fans to either spend more and more on top of their subscriptions or have to actually make that travel on a rainy night like this. A horrible night, really, without the actual option of being able to. The reason they took out said subscription was because these are the exact type of matches they expected to get when they took out their 12-month, 18-month subscription. So that is disappointing. So let's hope it is a good fixture from that aspect as well. And it gives the broadcaster a wee bit of a kick up the backside. Do you know what I mean?
It is, Russell, and it's when you look at the fixtures this evening, this is the standout fixture which they should be covering. Now, everybody's telling us that they're all getting set up to go and watch the game, and that we'll let ourselves go and get set up, have a beer, whatever you're going to do to watch the game. Score predictions. Lawrence, I'll come to you first.
I'm going to go 4-0 Celtic.
4-0 Celtic.
Just in case,
Just so
just in case there's a doubt who was saying the 4-4.
I'm sick of you sitting on the fence, Lawrence, honestly.
Brilliant, Lawrence. Love it. Russell, yourself.
I think tonight could be more of a turning point result than Pitoge. I think it could be 2-1 again. I think we'll get tested tonight and we're actually going to overcome the odds yet again, just like we did at Pitoge. And it's going to become a regular trait that Celtic now have added to the flamboyance, to the rip-roaring, to the free-scoring, to the never-boring. They've also added resilience now. I think we could win 2-1, but there might be a bump in the road along the way.
Might be. Hopefully, when we speak at half-time, we'll have some great things to actually talk about. Russell and Lawrence, I'll see you at half-time, same with everybody else. Hail, hail, and come on this, Celts.
Cheers.